Welcome back to Living Beyond Limits. I'm your host, Marcy Langlois. I'm so grateful that you've decided to spend your time with me today. Have you spent some time working through your trauma and wondering how you will ever find purpose in your life after the terrible events that you've experienced? Do you long for days of joy, contentment, and ease? If you can relate at all, then you definitely want to take a minute today and listen to what I have to share. We're going to take a look at how to reclaim your purpose after having experienced trauma. We'll delve into how actually having a purpose helps us to recover, how you can stop allowing the trauma to define you, and 3 things you can start doing today to live with purpose. I had no idea that if I could find purpose in my life, how much it would support my healing process from trauma. I don't know about you, but my traumas throughout my life completely jacked me up. Honestly, in every way imaginable. My health suffered dramatically. Drugs and alcohol seemed like a valuable tool to treat the way that I felt. And I was also pretty convinced that there was no meaning to this existence other than to simply suffer. Based on my very narrow view and my traumatized brain, I thought that the best thing I could do was to just party my way on through so that I wouldn't have to deal with the pain of acknowledging what really actually happened. I was fully invested in the idea of completely checking out of life and hoping that I would leave this earth sooner than later. I tried that path for as long as possible, but it didn't work. It didn't work out for me at all in the ways that I had hoped. I ended up actually having a family, which really muddied the idea of partying my way through. Today, though, I'm so grateful for that intervention of my family showing up because I would have missed out on some of the most amazing moments of my life. I didn't know it then, but what was actually happening for me at that time was there was this opportunity that was presenting itself. The beginning of my relationship with Tracy and Brianna was actually like the doorway into creating purpose in my life. It really was the beginning of my life in so many ways. You might be asking yourself, why though? How did purpose help you heal from trauma? What's the connection? Well, having purpose actually makes life feel worthwhile and deeply meaningful. I don't know about you, but I felt dead inside. I couldn't feel much of anything at all, really. You know how the days all feel like they just run together? It doesn't matter if it's Tuesday or Saturday, because for you, every day is the same, often marked by pangs of anxiety, depression, and misery. It seems that the past just has a hold, and no matter what you do, you can't break free from it. I lived it too, so I get it. But here's what ended up happening is that when I got sober and I could see my life a lot more clearly, then I could see all the ways that life was actually full of purpose. From being with my family and fully engaged with them to helping other people get sober and having a career that I loved. My life was literally brimming with purpose in every direction. Each day turned into an opportunity to contribute to the world, which made my days feel full of value and meaning. When I finally felt like life did matter, then I wanted to heal rather than to avoid. See, having purpose creates deep joy and pleasure. I started to find that just simply because I was alive and I got to experience life, that brought me so much joy. You know how the old memories plague you? And after you get stuck in a thought loop about what happened, that you feel like you've been hit by a bus? Me too. It feels awful to live like that. Those old memories that haunted me made me believe that this is just the way life is, stuck in the old feelings and not much to look forward to at all. But once I found my purpose, which I have to be honest, has changed many times over the years. Initially, I thought just being a parent and a partner was outstanding. I started feeling moments of deep joy. It was the simple things in life. A nice dinner out, watching a movie on the couch all together, eating popcorn, just being together. I wanted to eke out every possible moment of joy that I could find. And the only way I could do that was by beginning the healing journey. Let's be real about it though. The healing journey is difficult, and oftentimes you can feel like you aren't getting anywhere, or does it even matter anyway? I found that having purpose inspires you to keep going when you may want to give up. in any area of your life, but especially when you're in the middle of doing your work to heal. Had I tried to start the healing journey back in the days when I thought that there was no point to life, then I would have never, ever stuck it out because the overall theme of my life was, what does it matter anyway? And why bother? But as the purpose in my life grew, then it became so important to be able to show up in a way that was in alignment with who I wanted to become. I knew the only way to become who I wanted to be was to face the past and work on it. Without purpose, there was no point to any of it. And it allowed me to keep going even when it felt easier to give up. What if the trauma literally defines and shapes your life? How can you stop letting that trauma define you? That's a great question for sure. The first step is simply acknowledging what has happened. You can't take it back. You can't undo the events. There's no replay. It is what it is. I know that may sound harsh, but this is just wrapping your mind around this is just how it is. The awful things that have happened cannot be undone by you continuing to relive the experiences over and over or allowing the emotions tied to the experiences, such as anger, resentment, sadness, continue to rule your world. You can see the outcome that it's providing. If you can find your way through acknowledging that it is what it is, then the next thing you can work on is healing. Now, I know from my own experiences that healing is not linear and that healing is indeed a process. There's no arrival in healing, unfortunately, but there is a shift. The shift usually translates to some sort of relief. Over time, it seems the more you work at healing, the less and less power things have over you and your life. The healing literally creates space for new things and opportunities to come. The thing that I found to be most helpful was learning to identify that trauma is what happens to us, but it's not who we are. This is so important to grasp, and I didn't get it for a long time. Trauma is what happens to you, but it's not who you are. That was a huge revelation for me. Trauma is soul sucking in every way, and it convinces us that we are the experience, that we're bad, we're wrong, shameful, guilty, boundaryless, etc. But we aren't. What we are is these uniquely individual people that all have this potential if we can just find a purpose to help motivate us to move through the old experiences that are tying us down. If you've struggled with trauma, you know how hard it is to overcome it. But let's focus on steps you can take. How can you start living your life with purpose so you can make measurable steps towards recovering from your trauma? Well, the first thing I've found to help with this is to become crystal clear with what you're deeply passionate about regarding your ideals and values. Take a stand for what you believe in. What matters to you in your life and the world around you? Can you become a part of that mission or cause that is supporting what you believe in? Make a plan to find ways to align yourself with what you feel is a worthy endeavor and then dive in. Become an active part of the things that matter most to you. I was so passionate about helping youth and got involved with the local youth homeless shelter. We cooked meals at the shelter for the youth and supported their mission in every way that we could. The second thing is to determine what lights your soul up. Like what rocks your socks off when you talk about it. We all have those things that we start talking about it and we just start smiling. Our face literally lights up. We sit up straight and we lean forward in our chair as we talk about it because it just means so much to us. If you can't name it for yourself, then ask your friends or family to give you some feedback about it. What do they notice that it is that you're so passionate about and get excited for? Once you identify the sock rocker, do more of it and start immediately. For me, what lit me up was to share my message of hope and inspiration to the world. I find purpose in providing hope and tools to other people on the path. In a lot of ways, it feels like it's transformed my suffering into meaning. And the third thing is to follow through and actually implement what you've discovered. Now that you know what you're passionate about, what fills your life with purpose, go do it. Make a commitment to pursuing your passion. Show up and be a part of the change that matters to you. This doesn't mean to disregard your feelings, but it means that you aren't going to wallow in them. You'll feel things as they come up, and then you'll have a place to go restore your sense of wholeness and to reconnect with the dreamer who wants and deserves more from life than the pain your trauma has caused you. Focusing on your purpose will help you to actively employ the concept that trauma is simply what happens to us, but is absolutely not who we are. I did lots of things throughout the years to support the youth in our area, but I had it marked down on the calendar that every Thanksgiving and Christmas, we would go to the shelter in the morning, make a huge, huge breakfast for all of the kids. We'd sit down, we'd eat with them, we'd listen to their stories, and we would just connect with them, be present. No matter what was going on in our life, Thanksgiving and Christmas morning, we showed up for the kids and we received more than we could have ever given. I hope you find something that means that much to you too. Friends, thank you so much for joining me today. We've looked at how finding a purpose can help you to recover from trauma, how to not let trauma define your life any longer, and 3 ways for you to start living with purpose today. I hope you found this episode helpful and inspiring. If so, please help our efforts with our show and share this episode with your community of people. We would also appreciate you subscribing on YouTube so that you never miss a future episode. Until the next time, be amazingly well.